Hello, this is Spellbinder with this news update. I have an article here. It's done by Paul Greg Roberts about the TSA and what they're getting ready to do to us. I'll take you to the article now. And this is the article. Police State USA, TSA Gestapo Empire. It's done on today, 11/29/10. He's over, apparently he's in Europe right now, or somewhere. It's a little bit ahead of time. I guess he didn't expect this to be published before tonight sometime. It doesn't take a bureaucrat long to create an empire. John Pistole, the FBI agent who took over the Transportation Security Administration July 1st, told USA Today 16 days later that protecting trains and subways from terrorist attacks will be as high a priority for him as air travel. It is difficult to imagine New Yorkers being porno screened and sexually groped on crowded subway platforms and showing up an hour or two in advance for clearance for a 15-minute subway ride. But once bureaucrats get their bit in their teeth, they take absurdity to its logical conclusion. Buses will be next, although it is even more difficult to imagine open-air buses stops turned into security zones or screeners and gropers inspecting passengers before they board. Will taxi passengers be next? In those Muslim lands whose citizens the U.S. government has been slaughtering for years, favorite weapon for retaliation against the Americans are car and truck bombs. How long before Pistole announces that the TSA Gestapo is setting up roadblocks on city streets, highways, and interstates to check cars for bombs? That 15-minute trip to the grocery store then becomes an all-day affair. Indeed, it has already begun. Last September, agents from Homeland Security, TSA, and the U.S. Department of Transportation, assisted by the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, conducted a counterterrorism operation on the busy Interstate 20 just west of Atlanta, Georgia, designated Viper, Visible Intermobile Prevention and Response. The operation required all trucks to stop to be screened for bombs. Federal agents used dogs, screening devices, and large drive-through bomb detection machines. Imagine what the delays did to delivery schedules and truckers' bottom lines. There are news reports of federal trucks equipped with backscanner X-ray devices that secretly scan cars and pedestrians. With such expensive counterterrorism activities, both in terms of the hard-pressed taxpayers' money and civil liberties, one would think that bombs were going off all over America. But of course there aren't. There have not been a successful terrorist attack since 9/11, and thousands of independent experts double or doubt the government's explanation of that event, or those events even. Subsequent domestic terrorist events have turned out to be FBI sting operations in which the FBI agents organized not-so-bright, disaffectionate members of society and led them into displaying interest in participating in a terrorist attack. In other words, they found somebody and said, "Hey, would you like to blow something up? I can help you." And kind of like, that sounds almost like entrapment. Once the FBI agent, pretending to be a terrorist, succeeds in prompting all the right words to be said and captured on his hidden recorder, the terrorists are arrested and the plot exposed. In other words, these are like false flag operations that don't go off completely. The very fact that the FBI has to orchestrate fake terrorism proves the absence of real terrorism. In other words, if you don't egg somebody into doing it, it won't really happen. They won't have the balls to do it unless somebody's sitting there saying, "Well, I got thousands of dollars here and some bombs. You want to go do it? Hey, I'll pay you." If Americans were not more thoughtful and less gullible, they might wonder why all the emphasis on transportation when there are so many soft targets. Shopping centers, for example. If there were enough terrorists in America to justify the existence of Homeland Security, bombs would be going off around the clock in shopping malls in every state. The effects would be far more terrifying than blowing up an airliner. Indeed, if terrorists want to attack air travelers, they never need to board an airplane. All they need to do is join the throngs of passengers waiting to go through the TSA scanners and set off their bombs, killing everybody waiting in line. The TSA has conveniently assembled the targets. The final proof that there are no terrorists is that not a single neoconservative or government official responsible for the Bush regime invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan and Obama's regime slaughters of Pakistanis and Yemenis and Somalians has been assassinated. None of these Americans who are responsible for lies, deception, invasions that have destroyed the lives of countless numbers of Muslims have any security protection. If Muslims were capable of pulling off 9/11, they are certainly capable of assassinating Rumsfeld, Wolfenitz, Prill, Fitz, Libby, Condoleezza Rice, Christo, Bolton, Goldsberg, and scores of others during the same hour of the same day. I'm not advocating that terrorists assassinate anyone. I'm just making the point that if the U.S. wasn't overrun with terrorists as empire-building bureaucrats pretend, we would definitely be experiencing dramatic terrorist acts. The argument is not believable that a government that was incapable of preventing 9/11 is so all-knowing that it can prevent assassinations of unprotected neocons in shopping malls from being bombed. If Al-Qaeda was anything like the organizations that the U.S. government claims, it would not be focused on trivial targets such as passenger airlines. The organization, if it exists, would be focused on its real enemies. Try to imagine the propaganda value of terrorists wiping out the neoconservatives in one fell swoop, followed by an announcement that every member of the federal government down to the lowest GS, every member of the House and Senate, and every governor was next in line to be bumped off. It hasn't happened, never will. This would be the real terrorism instead of making make-believe stuff associated with shoe bombs that don't work, underwear bombs that independent experts say could not work, and bottled water and shampoo bombs that experts say cannot possibly be put together in airline laboratories. Think about it. Would a terrorist organization capable of outwitting all 6 U.S. intelligence agencies, all intelligence agencies of the U.S. allies, including Israel's Mossad, the National Security Council, NORAD, Air Traffic Control, and the Pentagon and the airport security 4 times in 1 hour, put its unraveled prestige at risk with impossible or improbable shoe bombs, shampoo bombs, and underwear bombs? After success in destroying the World Trade Center and blowing up part of the Pentagon, it is extraordinary come down to go after a mere airliner. Would a person who gains fame by knocking out the world's heavyweight boxing champion make himself a laughingstock by taking lunch money from schoolboys? I don't think so. TSA is far greater a threat to Americans than are terrorists. Pistole has given the finger to the U.S. senators and representatives, state legislators, and the travel public who have expressed their views that virtual strip searches and sexual molestations are too high a price to pay for security. Indeed, the TSA in this Gestapo attitude and methods is succeeding in making Americans more terrified of TSA than they are of terrorists. Make up your own mind. What terrifies you the most? Terrorists, who in all likelihood you will never encounter in your lifetime, or TSA that you will encounter every time that you fly soon, according to Pistole, every time you take a train, a subway, or drive in a car or truck? Before making up your mind, consider this report from antiwar.com on November 19th. On November 19th, Antiwar.com says, TSA officials say that anyone refusing both the full body scanners and the enhanced pat-down procedures will be taken into custody. Once there, the detainees will not only be barred from flying, but will be held indefinitely as suspected terrorists. One sheriff's office said they were already preparing to handle a large number of detainees and plan to treat them as terrorist suspects. Who is cowing Americans into submission? The terrorists or the TSA Gestapo? As I tell you, as me, government, I'm telling you, I am not afraid. Quit protecting me. Quit protecting the people that believe the same. We are not afraid. We know we can get struck by lightning, get ran over by a bus. We can get stung by a bee and die of the bee sting. How in the hell is that going to change anything when that happens more than a terrorist attack? I just do not understand you people out there who are afraid of your own shadows. You've been brainwashed. The TV has brainwashed you with the mainstream media. You know what they do? They do Hitler things. You know what Hitler said? He said, repeat a lie enough times and everyone will believe it. You know what? That's exactly the ploy they're using against you right now. They're repeating this stuff over and over and over again, and pretty soon you're going, well, I guess it's right because I keep hearing it all the time. Now, come on. Is it right or is it not that you're being hoodwinked, that you're being lied to? Man, I don't know how you people would put up with this. You know you're being lied to. You know you're being hoodwinked. But yet you somehow just go along with it. Oh, it's for my own protection because they keep telling me so. Well, yeah, they're going to keep telling you so because if they repeat it enough times, you'll believe it. It's just a natural fact. Apparently, they've repeated everything so far enough times that you believe everything they're saying. They're saying that there's terrorists all in the Middle East and that we got to go over there and spend billions of dollars and finance these, industrial military complexes that build weapons and keep paying them money to build the weapons so they'll make buku amount of bucks. That's what we're doing. Don't you know exactly what we're doing? Didn't you ever watch the first episode of the Lone Gunman? In the Lone Gunman, the first episode, when the FCC guy goes, it's the government doing this, and the guy that's a CIA or NSA goes, there you go, blaming the government, always blaming everyone when it's a fraction of the government, a faction that is doing it. And he sits there and thinks about it. Oh, you mean the military-industrial complex, the weapon builders. There you go. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I think you get the idea. We're being lied to. The TSA was put there to be a Gestapo type of operation, to make you afraid, to make you fear, so you'll give up your rights, give up your guns, give up your land, give up your life, give up your children's freedoms. Stop being afraid. I'm not afraid. I tell the government, quit protecting me. I don't need your protection if it means giving up my rights. Ben Franklin even said it. You give up a bit of your rights. You don't deserve for freedom. You don't deserve your rights or your freedom if you give up your rights for security. You don't deserve either one. Until next time, this is Spellbinder with this news breaking update from Paul Greg Roberts, which is, he's an ex-person from the military. I mean, he knows. Listen, people, listen to it. Do your research. Don't sit there and believe the lies and disinformation that the MSM is giving you, because they're paid for and bought by the same people giving you the war. Brought to you by the military-industrial complex. Commercial next. Good day.